everyone, it's Sydney from Kinetic Sports Medicine and Performance. Today we are here to talk about foot strength, why it's important, what kind of stuff can you be doing to work on your foot strength. So lots of fun points that we'll go through today. To just kind of start it off, I always like to explain to people like why is foot strength important? Our feet are not something that we typically think about being a very important part of the chain. Like, yes, we walk on them all the time, but as a part of our body that is really, really important to exercise and to running, it's usually really commonly overlooked. And unfortunately, our feet do play a really, really important role in a lot of the stuff that we do. So we do need to train them. I like to explain it to people in this crazy way that people like really don't think about a lot is if you think about your hands, okay, and all the great things that your hands can do and the dexterity that you have and all the movements and the strength and stuff that you can do and the weight that you can hold with your hands, your feet actually have really similar anatomy. No, that doesn't mean that, you know, you do some of this foot strength stuff and you're going to be able to like write your name with your toes or whatever. Like, would be super cool if you could, but not very necessary. But I just like to put it in terms like that because it does tend to make more sense when we think about how strong our feet actually can be and why we need to train them. So first off, what should your feet be able to do? Well, they should be able to move independently through your toes, okay? You should be able to spread your toes out and you should be able to keep them all pointing forward and not have that big toe kind of like diving in, and you see people get those bunions on the sides of their feet, okay? A lot of that can actually stem from a strength deficit in your feet. So just quick, some of the things that, again, that I just touched on that you should really be able to do with your toes and your feet as just sort of like check-in points, like where am I at with my foot strength? So you should be able to spread your toes apart and kind of splay them and have space in between all your toes. And as you can see, my big toes have a pretty big gap in between where they lie and where the rest of my toes lie. This comes from me not wearing shoes that constrict my toes. So I wear shoes that have a pretty wide toe box, but I also do a lot of this foot strength stuff to make sure that I am kind of keeping my feet nice and healthy in that manner. Another thing that you should be able to do is really be aware of being able to sort of separate your big toe and then your little toes, okay? So if I keep my big toe on the ground and then I lift my little toes up, I can do that there. And then vice versa, if I want to leave my little toes down and lift my big toes up, I can do that as well, okay? And you should feel that kind of working in the bottom of that arch of your foot. So those are just some quick check-in things that you can see, where am I at with my toe strength? Or, you know, even if it's something that you've never thought about, like have you kind of already been training your feet by some of the stuff that you do. And some of the ways that you can do that is by walking barefoot around your house, lifting barefoot, wearing shoes that don't like interfere with just like the natural movement and motion of your feet. So let's go into some exercises. So again, we kind of just went through some really quick things that you could do. You can turn some of those into exercises, but let's even go more basic, okay? Let's just see, can you even just push your big toe down into the ground and feel that arch of your foot really, really start to work, okay? So if I have my one foot here, all I'm doing, and it's going to be a little bit hard to see because really all I'm going to be doing is pushing with my big toe, okay? So I'm thinking about pushing this toe right here into the ground as hard as I can, okay? So I can feel this all the way up through my arch. And one other thing that you'll notice is that when I push that big toe down, you don't see this like, it's hard for me to do, but this like scrunching of my little toes trying to also help with that job. I'm really just using that big toe. You want to hold this for about 5 to 10 seconds and do about 5 reps on each, okay? If you cramp in the arch of your foot, that's a sign of some weakness, okay? And that should improve as you get stronger with that movement. And then the second one that I want to show you guys today is almost the opposite. So you're going to try and just lift your big toe up, okay? So I showed you that I can do it by myself here, but if you cannot yet, what you can do is use your hands to hold down those little toes and then lift your big toes up from there. Okay, so why is this strength important, or what are some instances that we see in the clinic of people that need to be working on foot strength? Okay, so a lot of things that injury-wise that can come as a issue of you not having the strength in your feet, maybe some plantar fascia pain, some issues with ankle sprains, and like constantly like twisting on your ankles every time you step weird off a curb or whatever. I see it a lot in people that struggle with shin splints too. Foot strength is really important for anything where you have to like put load into the ground. So runners really need a lot of foot strength because it helps with that load absorption every time your foot hits and strikes that ground. So those are just some basic things that I see, and a lot of those people that come to me with injuries like that can definitely benefit from some of this foot strength stuff.